What's up guys, I'm CandidCrandell and today I'm talking about Pretty Little Liars Season 4 Episode 21, She's Come Undone. Oh, Arya, oh, Spencer, both of you are killing me. Arya talks to the girls about Ezra's book, his theory of who killed Allison, and he thinks that one of the girls did it. What? Emily points out that just because Ezra is writing this book does not mean that he's not A, and that A could very easily just be using this book to point blame onto someone else. The biggest thing that no one is realizing is that if Allison De Laurentiis is alive, none of them are guilty. Spencer wonders why Ezra had all of that stuff in his apartment in Ravenswood if he was just writing a book. I'm with you, Spencer, especially all like the pictures of Allison everywhere. It was just weird. Emily points out that if Ezra has been watching them, then he must know about A. And if he knew about A, why was he just standing back and not doing anything about it? Arya says that it's because he never really loved her. Arya, I don't think that's true. He's trying to come clean. He's not doing a great job, but he's trying. There is a flashback scene to Ezra and Arya when they meet at the bar. Oh, all the feels in this scene. It's so sad. It's interesting though because Ezra was completely honest about being a teacher. He didn't say at Rosewood, but he did say that he was teaching English, and I would think that Arya might sit there and think like, oh, I am underage and in a bar, and this guy says he's teaching. There is the slight possibility that he could teach at my school. Rosewood's a pretty small town. Arya puking into her trash can after the flashback scene, is that just supposed to represent the fact that she is like so sick just thinking about all of this? Or is she yet another girl who thinks that she's pregnant with Ezra's super sperm? I don't think that Arya's pregnant. I hope she's not. That would be so bad. Spencer's parents want her to go to rehab to get help for her pill addiction. Spencer asks them to give her one more try to get off the pills by herself. They agree as long as she agrees to take the withdrawal medication under their supervision and comes home right after school every single day. Spencer tells her parents that this time isn't like last time. Does that mean that last time was worse? That would be interesting because last time was around the time that Allison disappeared. If she was taking way more pills back then for a way longer period of time, who knows what she did? Shauna called Emily from Georgia saying that she needs Emily to get Allie's money into a P.O. box before 6 p.m. The P.O. box is addressed to AD Incorporated? Interesting. So Allie started a corporation, and from what we saw in Ezra's, he's got a corporation too. What's with all these corporations? Arya comes to school to confront Ezra face to face because that's a good idea. Oh, Arya. She goes right into Ezra's classroom and there's a sub and she asks where Ezra is. Not Mr. Fitz, but where's Ezra? Arya, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Oh, well, he's not here. He had a family emergency. She is so angry about Ezra's family emergency because we all know that it's not a family emergency. Toby brings up a really good point to Spencer when he says, how can I help you when I don't even know you're in trouble? She has to communicate with him, and she's been hiding this drug addiction from everyone clearly because the girls didn't even know that she was on those pills back when Allie disappeared. Paige wants to hang out with Emily, and when they're talking, she notices all of the cash sitting in her purse and asks what it's for. Emily lies because she can't exactly tell her that it's for Allison because Paige thinks Allison's dead. She says that it's from her grandmother, that she has to deposit it, and Paige is clearly skeptical. After leaving school, Arya goes to Ezra's apartment because that's also a great idea. Good job, Arya. Let's just keep going on your tour of places where Ezra might be where you can confront him. I don't even know why she knocks on the door when she has a key. If you had the key, just like burst on in, that would be way more dramatic than knocking and being like, let me in. Catch him by surprise. He doesn't get privacy anymore. He lied. He's been writing a book. You just walk right in, girl. You've got a key. Speaking of which, the fact that Arya has keys to Ezra's apartment is a sign that he really does have feelings for her. I really don't think some guy who was trying to write a book would give a high school girl a key to his apartment if he didn't legitimately care about her. That's like too dangerous. Arya, you need to maybe calm down, you know, lay in bed for a day, cry about this and be upset, but then you also need to get all the facts before you do anything crazy. Arya decides to snoop around his apartment and she pretty quickly finds like all of his research in cardboard boxes. I think that this is another sign that Ezra is not A, because A in no way would leave all of their research and all of their information just sitting in boxes in their apartment that one of the liars had a key to. This is Ezra's thing also, like disappearing when his lies get discovered. Whenever Arya confronts him about something, he just scuttles off for a few days and like shows up a few days later and she's like, where were you? Ezra has files for a bunch of different people, theoretically all of the people who had some kind of association with Allison. He also has Mrs. Grunwald's tapes. Remember when Mrs. Grunwald said her tapes were stolen? Ezra has them. Why and how, we don't know. Hannah decides to go talk to Detective Hallbrook about Travis's dad because he's about to go testify in court about him. Because that's something you should do, Hannah. Arya finds a notebook full of Ezra's research for the book and he's got everything in there. How Arya told him about her dad having an affair and how Allison knew about the affair. The Jenna thing. Remember how he seemed like oddly not surprised when she revealed the whole Jenna thing to him and was like really supportive? He wrote down that Caleb was working for Jenna, which he was at one point. Mona being locked up, therefore not being able to be A. Ezra also wrote down that Jason was a suspect and that Toby might have been as well because of Allison being the ringleader in the whole Jenna blinding incident. Side note, where is Jenna Kavanaugh? I don't feel comfortable when I don't know where she is. Arya decides it's a good idea to trash Ezra's apartment. I understand the desire, Arya. I truly do. You are pissed and you have every right to be because this is sketchy and he is not around to answer your questions and that ain't cool. Why don't you just take all the boxes and beat the guy at his own game? If you don't even want to go through it, give it all to Spencer, give it to the other girls. I am sure that they will go through it, but don't tear it up. It's evidence. There might be answers in there that you don't have. If he's been doing all this research and been like stalking everyone, the least that you can do is use it to your benefit. A puts pills in Spencer's locker with a note that says, don't say I never gave you anything. Ugh, of course. Who would have access to get those pills? Whoever's wearing the black hoodie got 3 of Ren's prescription pads, one of which was in Spencer's purse, so we don't know where the other 2 are. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Ren that is getting these pills. However, I think that he's probably involved in some way, even if it's just through his prescription pad being used. I don't understand why on earth Emily lets Spencer take the pills to throw away. She is a recovering drug addict. Do not let her take the pills. I just want to throw them away somewhere like far away from here. Emily, you should have been like, okay, I have errands to run that are far away. Remember, I'll throw them away when I get there. The girls find Arya in Ezra's apartment because Arya left the door open, and then when the girls come in, they don't close the door either. It's very clear that Arya is the one who caused all the damage that is now around her, so maybe you could close the door to Ezra's apartment and give her some privacy so that his neighbor doesn't just walk right past and call the cops. Spencer is the only one of the girls who is at all concerned about taking evidence from Ezra's apartment, and I commend her. How many seasons have you guys spent looking for answers, and they might be right here in this apartment? Take it all. What's he gonna do? Go to the police and say, oh, I was writing this story about these teenage girls. I've had a relationship with 2 of them. They stole all of my surveillance of them, like videos and pictures that I took without them knowing. He can't do that. Paige is following Emily around and she confronts her about where she is sending the money to. Paige, stay out of this. It doesn't involve you. Just let Emily run her errands. Who cares if she's mailing a lot of money? Like, do you want it? Hallbrook helped Travis's dad with his testimony after Hannah went and talked to him. I feel like every older guy in Rosewood is into high school girls, and it's weird. Like, Hallbrook listening to Hannah, he knows better. From the stuff that Spencer took from Ezra's apartment, she finds the card for a private investigator, Mark Pope, and on the back it says, PI hired to follow Spencer? Question mark. Mr. Hastings told Spencer that he hired a PI to follow Melissa because he was concerned about her involvement in Allison's disappearance. Maybe the PI was following Spencer instead and he didn't want to tell her that. Spencer starts freaking out, thinking that because she was taking the pills that maybe she did something that she can't remember, which is very possible since last week she sleptwalked all the way to school and ended up in Ezra Fitz's classroom reading Allie's diary. Spencer, don't you dare take those A pills. 1, they're A pills. 2, they're gonna make you go to rehab, and you can't say no, 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 because you're under the age of 18. Paige says that she wants to take the envelope to the police unless Emily tells her who it's for. Emily caves and says that it's for Allison because she's still alive, and Paige does not look happy about that. Hannah reminds Arya Ezra was getting his information from a lot of different places and that Arya was not his only source, which is very true. If anything, Arya should feel really creeped out that her boyfriend has had cameras on her all the time. Wait, so if he's had cameras on her, does that mean he knows about Wes? Arya tells Hannah that she'll be okay for 10 minutes if Hannah goes to go get food. I don't think you will, Arya. You were left alone earlier today and you decided to go to school and confront Ezra in front of students, call him Ezra, and then you decided to go to his apartment and trash the place. So pardon your friends for thinking that maybe your judgment is a little bit skewed right now. Paige reminds Emily of how many times Allison manipulated both her and the other girls. Emily argues that Allison isn't like that anymore, to which Paige says she's been faking her death for the last 2 years. She's definitely still like that. She's a sick person. We need to let her family deal with it. I'm interested as to what Paige knows, because I think she's right. There was something a little bit off about Allison. Girl had a temper. Paige tells Emily that she doesn't want her to have any more contact with Allie. Hannah thanks Hallbrook for speaking up for Travis's dad, and then she kisses him in public. No. No, 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 no. Cece said that she witnessed a fight between Spencer and Allison the night that Allison disappeared. The reason that she never ended up telling anyone about what she saw is because Mrs. De Laurentiis paid her not to. Mrs. De Laurentiis saw the fight as well. Spencer confronts her dad about what happened the night that Allison disappeared, asking if he knows something that she doesn't. There are so many holes in her memory from that night because she was taking the pills. She remembers having a fight with Allie in the house, and then she remembers talking to the girls by the barn. Nothing in between. Spencer asks her dad if the private investigator that he said he hired to follow Melissa was actually for her. He does not give any definitive answer. He looks super guilty and definitely like he's hiding something. I think you're on the right track, Spencer. Emily agrees to have no more contact with Allison after she drops off this last envelope of cash. Arya finds a letter in Ezra's book. He has an agent for the book and he might have a deal with Random House to publish it. Now she's really pissed. Arya decides to call the agent's office and pretend to be a teacher from Rosewood High School. She says she wants to know if there is a publication date for the book so that she can throw him a surprise party with the rest of the faculty. Sneaky, sneaky, Arya. The woman on the other end says that she doesn't know the publication date yet, but that Ezra is in talking to the agent right now as she is speaking on the phone. If she calls back tomorrow, she'll have a better answer for her. I had a thought about this. Maybe Ezra is in New York meeting with his agent saying that he doesn't want to go forward with the book. That is not something that he could call over the phone and tell them. He needs to go and speak to them face to face and let them know why he does not want to continue with the book. He told Arya that he wouldn't publish it, so she needs to chill out a little bit and recognize that he could be there doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Spencer slips away from Toby on their walk and goes to talk to Mrs. De Laurentiis and ask her about what happened the night that Allison disappeared. Spencer, I guess, is thinking at this point that her dad paid off Mrs. De Laurentiis to not say anything about his daughter hitting her daughter over the head with a shovel and burying her. I don't know about you, but if I witnessed a friend of my daughter hit her over the head with a shovel and start to bury her alive, I wouldn't just be standing there watching. I don't necessarily think that that's what she saw, because I cannot imagine a mother being so detached from her child that she would not say something about that and that she wouldn't have already been calling the police as it was happening. Mrs. De Laurentiis definitely looks like she knows something though. I've always thought that Mrs. De Laurentiis knew more than she was letting on. Arya is so pissed about the book deal that she decides to go to Principal Hackett's house to tell him all about her relationship with Ezra. No, 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 no. No, that is not what you do. That is so effing stupid. No. Luckily, Hannah is there to be the voice of reason and stop her. Arya's like, I want him to suffer because of this too. Let him get back from New York. Talk to him. See where you stand. It's been like 24 hours since you found out about all of this. Process a little bit before jumping into crazy actions that will put people behind bars and make you a social pariah. Emily goes to see Arya and finds her packing a bag of clothes. Arya says that she needs to get out of Rosewood. She's not sure where she's going, but she's just gonna drive and figure it out. Paige leaves an anonymous note in a police car saying that she knows for certain that Allison De Laurentiis is alive, and then writes down the P.O. box address for AD Incorporated and tells them to start looking for her. Ugh, I don't think Emily's gonna forgive you for that one. We see the person in the black hoodie sitting in front of a fire, reading the sheets that they collected of Ezra's book. They get up and go to poke at the fire. They have the pages in their hands, but we do not see them put the pages in the fire. So I don't know if they are burning the pages or if they are keeping them and reading them. But if Ezra is not the one in that hoodie, someone else is now becoming privy to the whole thing. And if A was the one who did something to Allison, that could be bad for Ezra, because now A knows that Ezra is on his trail. I say he, I don't know if it's a he. We don't know who A is, but whoever they are, they've got Ezra's stuff. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this week's episode. If you have any Pretty Little Liars theories, I would love to discuss them with you. If you don't already, you can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Blogspot, and Instagram. Username, CandidCrandell. I put out videos every Tuesday and Thursday on my channel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again on Tuesday. Bye.